Hello everyone. So I hope to show you how to use the DMeta Contract. It's a system where you can quite simply create a contract between you and another party, or however many parties actually, and you can do this without a centralized authority. The system we use for this is a hash. Currently we're using a 53-bit integer hash. And so I can show you an example here. This is an example of a contract. Okay, so it's just in plain text here, and it says Brian will transfer $50 to Trinity via local banks after Adam sends, this is a Tron, it's a type of cryptocurrency, 50 of that to Brian. So you can see this is a contract. There's three names in this actually: Brian, Trinity, and Adam. So they've made this agreement between each other, and what they want to do is use DMeta as a kind of proof of the contract. So the first thing you do is you click the DMeta hash, and this code right here is a hash of that contract. Now you could try to like brute force that or use another method to work out what the contract was, but that would be extremely difficult and would take a long time to do. But if you have the contract, it's very easy to generate this again, because however many times you click this, you're going to get the same hash. If it changes in some way, if someone tries to alter the agreement, say, someone modifies this and they try to say $30, well, that's a completely different hash. So if you have the original text of the contract, you can check that it matches what you expect, because you just paste it in here, and you would record this hash and you check that it matches. So right now, once you've done that, you have the hash of this contract. We want to look at getting DMeta hashes of a public key, so party A and a public key of party B. So this is how the DMeta contract works. You have a hash of the contract, a hash of the public key of party A, and a hash of the public key of party B. So down here you can actually generate some keys for yourself. Just click generate new keys. At the moment, this web page does not save this. So what you'll want to do is copy and paste these somewhere, so you have a record of it for yourself. But after you've clicked the generate new keys, you can click this button here, HBBKA, and you'll get a public key that comes from this. Well, a hash of a public key. This is a DMeta hash. The next thing you'll need is that of party B. Now, for the sake of this demonstration, you can generate the keys and the hash here, but in real life what you'll do is you'll ask the other person to give you their DMeta hash, and you'll just copy and paste that into this box here. So once you have those two, you want to click on the DMC3, so DMeta Contract triplets. And so the first one is the hash of the contract, then the hash of the public key of party A, and the hash of the public key of party B. And then after that you can click this button root, which is a hash of all these three. So this is the sort of contract, the triplet, and then this is a hash of that. So you can prove each stage. You can prove this was the contract and these were the two parties it was between through this hash. And then each of these individually you can prove what the contract was, and you can prove who party A was, and you can prove who party B was. Now, quite usefully, at the end of this page you have the human readable DMC. So this is probably what you will send to each other as proof that you've agreed on this contract. It's a lot more readable. So it just writes it in plain text. You can modify these names manually because, you know, in this case it's between Adam and Brian, but it's going to be between you and somebody else, so just rewrite your names there. And you can send that to each other as an agreement. But why would you do this? Well, the reason for these DMeta hashes is to have a decentralized way of making a contract or agreement between two people. One use for this that we really want to promote is for programmers to receive donations. In the free software and open source world, programmers may not get payment for much of the work that they do. And we want to change that. We want programmers to be able to say, okay, yes, I work on this, and here's my hash, so you can send me donations. Or that people can play something called a DMeta bounty, where they say, if you develop this feature, then I will send you this much money. And of course, when somebody can say, yes, I'll develop that feature, you make a contract using the DMeta contract. Nobody else is involved. It's just you two. So you have control over your money, over your data, and so on. Another use you might want for this, which is illustrated in this example, is somebody can become an agent where they receive money in fiat currency and they will send cryptocurrency to another country and then perhaps convert it in that country. This is because not everybody has a crypto wallet, but it can actually be quite cheap to send money through cryptocurrencies, and also it's decentralized, so that's an advantage. So this is actually illustrated in this example here, because it says Brian will transfer this money to Trinity after Adam sends this cryptocurrency to Brian. So with this DMeta contract, anybody in a country can become an agent. You know, you can get people to give you money in fiat and send it in crypto, or the other way around, and you charge a fee. The good thing about this is you now have a competition about the exchange rates and stuff and how much you charge, which will keep those prices low. Those of you who have sent money abroad know about some of the crazy fees and really poor exchange rates that you end up with. So we're hoping to challenge that by means of this DMeta contract as well. And I would say what I've mentioned so far is probably the main uses, but this can be used for pretty much any kind of agreement as well. As long as you have a contract between two people and you can write it in text, you can put it there. At this moment, I wouldn't use the DMeta contract for very, very serious things. We are still working on it. It's still in its early stages. But if you're a programmer, feel free to use it to make agreements with people so you can get some money. Or if you make a bet or something with your mates, I don't recommend betting, but if you do something like that, you can also set up a DMeta contract. Just give it a try and let me know how you find it. We're hoping that this will be the platform for users being able to get control of their data again. We want people to have control of their data and the money that it generates. Currently, all these big names, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Apple, we have all these big companies. They can take people's data and they can use that to make quite a lot of money. You don't see any of that money. We want to change that so you have control of your data, your identity. Everything's decentralized and people will actually receive money for their works. So that's all I wanted to present. Let me know if you have any questions.